Also breaking tonight, the sheriff of Clayton County now firing back at former Sheriff Victor Hill. Hill made wild accusations about his successor less than a month after he got out of prison. Now, you might remember Hill was convicted of violating the civil rights of inmates back in October 2022 after reports he strapped them to chairs as punishments. Hill posted to Facebook today alleging the current sheriff bought $100,000 of personal clothing, handed out cars to family members, and is over budget by $14 million. Hill went on to say he will not be endorsing Sheriff Levon Allen again. And tonight, Sheriff Allen said in a statement to Clayton residents, quote, "It pains me deeply that former Sheriff Victor Hill has chosen to publicly discredit me in an attempt to assert his influence and control. I once looked up to him as a mentor, learning valuable lessons under his guidance. However, I will not compromise my values and principles for the sake of appeasing his untethered ego, arrogance, or agenda."